Part 1. The hidden traps that too many people fall into. Have you ever lain awake at night, wondering if your savings will really last? It's a quiet worry that creeps in, especially as we get older. You may have worked hard all your life, saved when you could, maybe even made a few smart investments. But now, as the years roll on, the fear of running out of money starts to feel more real than ever. If you felt that way, you're not alone. In fact, millions of older adults, many of them smart, careful people, have seen their retirement savings disappear faster than they ever imagined. Sometimes, it's not because of one huge mistake. It's the quiet, familiar choices that chip away at a lifetime of saving. And by the time we notice, it's often too late to reverse course. That's why we're having this conversation today. Because the truth is, it's not too late to protect your financial future. You can still make wise, clear-headed decisions that preserve what you've built and help you live with freedom, not fear. In this video, we're going to talk about 3 of the most common financial mistakes that quietly destroy retirement savings, and more importantly, how to avoid them. We're not here to blame or shame anyone. We're here to learn, to prepare, and to empower ourselves for a stronger, more peaceful future. So, let's start with the first big mistake. It's one that catches people off guard, not because it's unusual, but because it feels so natural. Trusting too easily without asking questions. Here's something many of us grew up believing. If someone wears a nice suit, speaks with confidence, and works at a bank or investment firm, they must know what they're doing. And maybe they do. But does that mean they're putting your best interests first? Not always. Too many retirees fall into the trap of handing over control of their money to advisors, family members, or even online experts, without really understanding where their money is going. The paperwork is confusing. The terms are vague. And the truth is, no one wants to feel foolish by asking simple questions. But that hesitation can be costly, sometimes devastatingly so. Take Sandra, for example. She was 68, recently widowed, and a kind, trusting soul. Her nephew offered to help her with her finances and persuaded her to move a large portion of her savings into an unfamiliar investment account. He sounded confident, even caring. But within 2 years, the money was gone, lost in high-risk bets and hidden fees. The worst part, she never asked him to explain where the money was going, because she didn't want to offend him. Here's the lesson. Asking questions is not rude. It's responsible. Whether it's a financial advisor, a loved one, or even a friend with a great idea, you have every right to understand how your money is being used. If someone can't explain it in a way that makes sense to you, they probably shouldn't be trusted with it. Now, I know that not everyone has formal training in finance, and that's okay. You don't need to become an expert, but you do need to give yourself permission to slow things down, ask questions, and say no if something doesn't feel right. Your money is yours, and protecting it doesn't make you selfish. It makes you wise. So how do you avoid this first trap? A few simple practices can make all the difference. Always ask for written explanations in plain language before making any big financial decision. Don't rush. Anyone who pressures you with urgent decisions is waving a red flag. Bring a trusted friend or neutral third party with you when meeting with financial professionals, especially if you feel unsure. And above all, remember this. Your instincts matter. If something feels off, it probably is. Now, let's move gently into the second big mistake. Another one that often comes from a good heart, but can carry heavy consequences when we're not careful. Part 2. The price of love, and when it becomes too high. Let's go back to where we left off. We just talked about the importance of not handing over financial control too easily, not even to people we love, unless we truly understand what's happening with our money. But that brings us to another deep, emotional mistake. And it's one that comes from the best place in the heart, wanting to help family, especially children and grandchildren. For many of us, there's no stronger instinct than taking care of those we love. We want to support them when they struggle, be there when they fall short, give them a softer landing in hard times. But here's the hard truth that's difficult to say out loud. Giving too much, too often, can quietly ruin your retirement. Not because generosity is bad, not because your loved ones don't deserve help, but because we sometimes forget to put boundaries on our giving. We give even when we know it's more than we can afford. We tell ourselves, it's just this once, or I'll recover later. But in retirement, there isn't always a later to make it back. Let me tell you about David. He's 72, retired, and lives modestly. A few years ago, his daughter went through a tough divorce and needed help paying her mortgage. David stepped in, happy to help. Then his grandson needed tuition for college. Then his son lost his job. Before he knew it, David had dipped into his emergency fund, then his long-term savings, and finally started using credit cards to fill the gap. He never regretted helping, but now he's left with sleepless nights, wondering how he'll make it through the next 5 years without going broke. If that story feels familiar, please know this: you're not alone. Many older adults sacrifice their own security for the sake of their children or grandchildren. And it's done with love, but it must be done with limits. Here's what you can do to protect yourself. 1. Know your budget clearly. Before giving money to anyone, take a quiet moment to look honestly at your own financial picture. Do you have enough for your own housing, healthcare, and daily needs? Will this gift or loan affect your ability to live comfortably for the next 10, 20, even 30 years? If the answer is yes, pause. Your first responsibility is your own well-being. 2. Give thoughtfully, not emotionally. It's natural to react quickly when someone you love is in distress. But take a breath. You don't have to say yes right away. You can say, "Let me think about it," or "Let me check my finances first." This isn't cold. It's careful, and it often leads to better outcomes for everyone. 3. Set clear limits and stick to them. If you choose to give, set clear boundaries. Decide in advance what you're comfortable offering and communicate it kindly but firmly. For example, I can help this time with $500, but I can't do more. Or, I'm happy to support you in other ways, but I need to keep my savings secure. 4. Don't let guilt drive your choices. This might be the hardest part. Saying no doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're protecting the future you've worked so hard for. And in truth, teaching your children that money has limits can be one of the most loving, lasting lessons of all. This isn't about being selfish. It's about being strong, smart, and steady for yourself and for those who depend on you. Because the more secure you are, the more consistent and helpful you can be in the long run. And if you ever feel unsure or pressured, talk to someone neutral, a financial counselor, a trusted friend, even a professional, before making a big decision. So, what have we talked about so far? First, don't trust blindly. Ask questions. Second, don't give until it hurts. Protect your future first. Now, let's turn our attention to the third and final financial trap, one that might surprise you. It's not about people, or generosity, or trust. It's about you, and how you see your own future. Part 3. The illusion of endless time, and the cost of waiting too long. Let's pause for a moment. You've lived through decades of change, challenge, and growth. You've provided for a family, faced loss, reinvented yourself more times than anyone could count. So here's a question, perhaps the hardest one of all. Why do so many people, after all that experience, still hesitate to make clear, bold decisions about their money? The answer is simple, but powerful. Because deep down, we think we still have time. Time to fix it later. Time to finally sit down and plan. Time to deal with that uncomfortable money stuff, just not today. And that brings us to the third mistake that silently drains retirement savings. Waiting too long to plan, or not planning at all. Unlike the first two mistakes, this one doesn't come from trusting others or being too generous. It comes from underestimating how fast life changes. It's like standing on a beach, watching the tide go out, slowly at first, until you realize your feet are no longer on solid ground. Let me tell you about Lorraine. Lorraine is 68. She always meant to meet with a financial advisor. She always meant to update her will. She kept saying, "I'll look at my budget after the holidays," or "I'll sort through my pension stuff next month." Then her partner had a sudden stroke. Overnight, her household income was cut in half. Hospital bills arrived. Decisions had to be made immediately about money, about care, about housing, and Lorraine wasn't ready. She had no emergency fund, no plan for long-term care, no clue about where all the paperwork even was. And it wasn't because she didn't care. It was because she thought she had time. So, if you're watching this and feeling a little uncomfortable, good. That feeling is a sign of awareness. And awareness is the first step to change. Here's what you can do, starting now, not someday. 1. Create a simple, honest snapshot of your finances. You don't need a spreadsheet or fancy software. Just grab a notebook and answer these questions. What are your monthly expenses? What income do you have? Pensions, Social Security, savings. How long will your savings last at your current spending rate? This isn't about fear. It's about clarity. Clarity gives you peace of mind. 2. Make an emergency plan. Who will make financial decisions for you if you can't? Where are your key documents stored? Do your loved ones know where to find them? Planning for the unexpected is a gift, not just to yourself, but to the people you care about. 3. Seek guidance without shame. There's no age limit on learning. If you feel unsure, reach out. Financial counselors, nonprofit services, even community centers often offer free or low-cost advice. There's no shame in saying, I need help. 4. Take one step this week. Pick one thing you've been putting off, just one, and do it this week. Whether it's calling your bank, reviewing your insurance, or writing down your passwords. Action creates momentum. And here's the truth. Once you start, you'll feel lighter. You'll feel more in control. And that anxiety that's been whispering in the background, it'll get quieter. Because this isn't about being perfect. It's about being prepared. So, let's take a breath together and look back. We've explored 3 big financial traps. Trusting too blindly. Giving too much without boundaries. Waiting too long to plan. If any of these mistakes sound familiar, don't beat yourself up. You're not alone. Many people have made these same choices, and many have turned things around at 65, 70, even 80. The most important thing is not where you are right now. It's what you choose to do next. And if this video has helped you feel even a little more confident, a little more inspired, then I've done my job today. So before we part, let me leave you with this. Your future isn't behind you. It's still unfolding. And you have the power, yes, even now, to protect it. If this message spoke to you, feel free to share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear what lessons you've learned, or what steps you're taking. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and subscribe for more guidance made just for you. Until next time, stay strong, stay wise, and live well at every age.